How's it going, everybody? Sir Douglas here of the Argos Fancast, and today, upon sober review, Argonauts 37, Alouettes 31, and the playoff race, it is heating up like you wouldn't believe. I'll get into that in a little bit later, but first off, let's get into the game itself. It was the CFL's Indigenous Week. Um, the it's for the basically it's Truth and Reconciliation Day. That was back on the 30th, which was let's see, today is the 6th, so yeah, it was like Monday, last Monday. Um, every single team had Indigenous logos on their helmets, and they also wore orange jerseys for the warm up. Both of which were like the Indigenous logos for all the teams are absolutely amazing looking. The Argos logo, in particular, of course, I'm a big fan of it. But every single one of them had really, really good. Every single one was really, really well done. And of course, the orange jerseys, they were all auctioned off afterwards. They were only worn in warm up, but it'd be nice if one day they can actually incorporate the orange into the game itself. That would be pretty cool. It was a moist night at BMO Field, to be perfectly honest. There was a fair bit. We've had a lot of rain in Toronto recently, but especially last Saturday night, it was quite drizzly. Um, we're pretty much right at the beginning of the game. It started like there was a fair bit of rain that came down. Luckily, if you're in the stadium, you were probably covered, so that was no big whoop for you. But the people that were on the field holding on to both the Argo and Canadian flags, they got drenched. They got drenched, and I bet you the flags were getting really heavy because they were filling up with water pretty quickly. So with all that said and done, let's get into the game. First quarter, opening salvo was Liram Hiralahu. As easy as he could make it. It was 3-0 Toronto early on. Kadeem Carey, he had a great day on the. Well, as a matter of fact, the entire the entire rushing game had a great day. But Kadeem Carey, he had 13 carries for 90 yards, I think. So he had a very good game. Um, Chad Kelly, on the other hand, maybe maybe he had a half decent one. Yardage wise, it wasn't bad, but right after the Liram field goal, though, uh, Chad Kelly threw an interception to Ruffin. It was an utter gift for him. Let's face it, he wasn't really throwing to anybody. He just threw it right into Montreal's coverage, and the fact that it was nearly a pick six too, because he ran it all the way back to inside the 10. However, although it wasn't a pick six, Cody Fajardo found Fletcher, touchdown, 7-3 Montreal. Um, Argos managed to get a drive going, and it stalled inside the 10 again. Liram Hiralahu, once again, another field goal, 7-6. Montreal didn't really do much on the following drive, but the Toronto had a really good play. Chad Kelly found Mackay Polk, and he got behind the defense, but he just ran out of gas. Unfortunately, he just ran out of gas. Didn't do much after that. Next thing you know, Liram Hiralahu, another field goal. That's 3 on the day so far, and it's 9-7 Toronto. And second quarter, Dominique Davis tried to throw in not throw, but tried to run it in on a third and I think it was like third and short. However, snap was botched. Ball pops loose. Your your favorite your favorite member of the secondary in mine, Benji Franklin, came out and recovered the fumble. Argos get the ball back at midfield. And then Chad Kelly found Dave Unger the third, sorry. He got it to inside the 5, but once again the drive stalled. Liram Hiralahu gets back out there, another field goal. That's 4 for 4, and Toronto leads 12-7. Montreal on their ensuing drive didn't do anything, but then we saw Deonta McMahon do something that I know I saw. If anybody remembers him, a backup running back by the name of Brandon Burks, if anyone remembers him. I remember there was this one play he did against Hamilton in a preseason game where he kind of did like a little, where basically he got the ball and he kind of did like a little, how can I put it? Like a little inverted six maneuver. Is that? No, that's backwards. No, that's worse. You know what I mean, right? It made like a little, where it kind of gets it, starts off like a reverse, kind of like a reverse six, where the defenders tried to get him, and he went out and got a touchdown. This time, Deonta McMahon did that, got a fairly big gain out of it, and then we finally saw Kadeem Carey does what he does best, gets the ball, runs it straight in, lost his bucket again, touchdown Toronto. Extra point was good. 19-7 lead at that point. However, on Montreal's ensuing drive, Cody Fajardo, he finds Speaker. Our boy, your favorite member of the secondary in mind, Benji Franklin, he got beat on the plays just straight up. There was a good 2 to 3 yard separation between him and the receiver. It happens. Touchdown Montreal, 19-14. Toronto still leads though. They kicked it off. It was a rouge. So that cuts the lead to 4. Then oh my goodness, then the PTSD kicks in as Haggerty kicks a punt, picked up by James Lesher Jr. Somehow gets through a cloud of coverage. The old you know in the old school cartoons where you see where characters get into a fight and you just see this big cloud of body parts just going around, just wailing on each other. Yeah, Letcher got into that and got through it and ran it all the way back. Yeah. But hey, give Hags credit. He tried to get him at the end, but it was already too late. Montreal takes the lead at that point by 3. It was a 22-19 lead. Then we had a fairly then we saw something that I think, something that Doug Flutie from the 90s would be proud of. The old shovel pass. Kelly found DeMonte Coxey. He got a first down out of it. And that drive led to a Liram Hairolahu field goal. And it was 22 apiece at halftime. So in other words, just restart the game. It was all square at the half, so just restart the thing. In the third quarter, it started off with Maltos, the kicker for Montreal. He tried to kick a field goal. It went wide. It went a little wide left. Janarian Grant, however, grabbed it. Couldn't get out of the end zone. He just took a knee. And Montreal took the lead 23-22 at that point. Then Chad Kelly during the next drive, he actually faked what I wish he would never do again, and that's how sometimes, we saw this, we see it a lot this season where he'll just roll, where the coverage will break down, he rolls out and he just, for lack of a better term, he just yeets the ball. Well, he actually faked that yeet, ran it. He got to the 5-yard line, which was wow. Didn't expect that one, but I guess I know why. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh God, please don't just run it, and he ran it. Yes. Then Deontay McMahon, halfback toss, ran it in for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion was no good. Toronto retakes the lead 28-23 at the end of 3 quarters. Then we go to the fourth, and we all know what CFL games are like. Oh boy. This first one was a weird one though, because Chad Kelly was getting tackled. He was gonna be sacked. However, somehow, some way, he hands it off to Dejon Brissett. Welcome back, by the way. It's about time you came back, son. He handed it off to him, and he just bolted off to the sideline and got a first down out of it. Task failed successfully. But hey, first down Argos. I'm not going to complain. Then shortly after that, Chad Kelly had a good run. However, he got it into the red zone, but he kind of cramped up. So Cameron Dukes had to come in. Went nowhere, and Liram Hairolahu kicked another field goal, 31-23 lead, and that was his 6th of the game. So the kicking game was right on point. The Argos had a pretty good goal line stand. but it wasn't. But unfortunately, Montreal got it. Dominic Davis snuck in for a touchdown with a good 2 point conversion. However, first and goal, Argos said nope. Second and goal, Argos said nope. Third and goal, took them a while to think about it, but unfortunately at that point it was a touchdown, and looking at the replay, it was. So once again, with 2 point conversion was good. It was tie. It was a game tied at 31 at that point. Next possession for the Argos. Got close. Liam Hiralahu, another field goal. That's 7 for 7 and a 34-31 lead for Toronto. Cody's drive went no. Cody, no, sorry, not Cody. Montreal's drive went nowhere. Liam Hiralahu once again, another field goal, and that is 8 for 8, a 37-31 lead for Toronto. That's how the game would end up. And it was 8 for 8. And that's a new club record for Liam Hiralahu, most field goals in a game. Good. Applause to you, my man. Final drive for Montreal. First couple of plays didn't go incomplete. Third one was picked off by Tyshawn Blackburn. Way to go, son. Great. And he was actually a late addition to the game because Robert Priester was pulled from the game because he had an injury. And then we saw at the end of it, there was a little bit of a scuffle going on. I don't know what the hell for, but I mean, normally at the end of the game, they all just kind of gather at midfield to have a prayer, say good game, and get off the field. This time, for some weird reason, they decided to get into a little bit of a scrap. So nice to see that we're getting that playoff fire in us, and it's at the right time too, because guess what? It's time to get into the playoff picture. And there we are. So, if you take a look at the standings here. Now this is now prior to the game, I know I was watching Ottawa Saskatchewan out at the tailgate. With Saskatchewan beat them, so with Ottawa's loss, Montreal clinched first place in the East. As a result, they get the road to the Grey Cup, at least out of the East, runs through La Belle Province. So Montreal will get the East final. I mean, with a record of 11-3-1, it's not a shock. Now this is as of the end of this week's games. So Argos on the bye week, so as was Montreal and Ottawa. But one thing you're going to notice here, Toronto still hasn't clinched a spot yet. But you take a look. The West is pretty much won. We know who's going to be going, or we all know who's going to be going in out of the West Division. So it's Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, BC. The thing is, Winnipeg, with a win this coming week over Toronto, will clinch the West final. Despite starting the season piss poor, they have come back. And they have a pretty good record at home at 6-2. Argos' record on the road, not all that great. But the 2 wins that we have had on the road, one was in Montreal and one was in BC. So, and Winnipeg is always a tough place to play. So, and I mean, when you have, Toronto isn't all that bad, but Winnipeg's got a pretty good defense, and they just got to watch out for them. So now, if you're wondering I'm talking about the West too much. Let's talk about the East. So Montreal, like I said, clinches the East Division final. So they're going to get the bye. They're going to get the first round bye. Ottawa has also clinched a playoff spot, and that was because of Winnipeg defeating Hamilton this week. So as you can see, Hamilton is at 12 points. Ottawa's at 17. So with 2 games to go for Hamilton, they can't catch Ottawa. However, they are 4 points behind Toronto. Guys, please, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, beat Winnipeg this week. Beat them. Beat them soundly. Why? Because if Toronto wins, Hamilton is eliminated from playoff competition. Toronto needs to win this game in order to basically say to Hamilton, bye, get it up you. That's all you need. That's it. Just Toronto has to beat them. I don't care how you do it. I don't care what way you do it. Just beat Winnipeg. I know Winnipeg is going to be looking to clinch the West, but I'm sorry. Screw the West right now. Hamilton needs to be sent packing. I'm sorry, they just do. I mean, let's face it. The last few weeks they were getting a big head, so they need to be given a little needle to pop the old hopes and dreams and send them into obscurity for at least this season. So that's pretty much it. That's gonna do it for me this week. So throw a like, comment, subscribe. We will see you next time. Argos, please beat Winnipeg this week. That's please do it. That's all I ask. Anyway, but before I go, we're gonna pay a quick tribute to the already fallen teams. But after that, we'll see. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.